It's time for us to tap into another mock draft, look at the landing spots for these players, and analyze them for Dynasty Fantasy Football, their values, and how we should look at them if this random event happened and we had to draft these players in these landing spots. Before we do this, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're covering these Dynasty rookie drafts all off season long. We're covering the rookies, we're covering the rankings, we're covering ADP, we're doing mock drafts, we're covering mock drafts. Whatever we can do to get you ready for your rookie drafts, it's going to happen here. We also cover high school recruiting, in season, very hot and heavy, helping you set your lineups and win the waiver wire. Click that subscribe button. Stop missing out. And this mock draft right here is very sus. We're looking at Daniel Jeremiah. This mock draft came out just a couple days ago, January 19th, and it was yesterday, not a couple days ago. But still, I was on vacation, just got home right now, and this was the first thing I wanted to cover. I've been out a week. This is the first thing I wanted to cover when I got back because I didn't see the mock draft. I saw enough of it to get it ready here to cover the video, but I did not see it yet, but I saw the picks floating around social media. This mock draft is very sus. This is very Daniel Jeremiah-esque with these rando pseudo mock drafts that he does, with these picks trying to gain excitement on the internet. We're going to cover that portion here today. But this is a Daniel Jeremiah mock draft. You're going to see him make some weird picks, especially at wide receiver today. And we're going to cover those. And it's going to be early on because it's been floating around social media. And people have been drinking the Kool-Aid from this mock draft from what I've seen. I might be wrong because I've been navigating some buses on vacation over at Disney. But still, we're going to take a look at this. First pick off the board, Caleb Williams. First player off the board. You know what? There's no surprise to that. We see that in every mock draft. Him going to the Bears. Looks like they're trying to line things up to draft Caleb Williams. When we look at him in Superflex rookie drafts and rookie mock drafts, whatever you want to call him, he's the 101 there. Locked in. I think there's like a 5 to 10% chance that Marvin Harrison Jr. jumps up there because they just like him better at wide receiver than the quarterback position. That's fine. You're going to see that on a small percentage, but Caleb Williams at this spot, or if the Commanders want to pay up to get him or somebody else, no matter what, he's going to be the 101 in Superflex because the market is saying that. They've been saying that for a few years. Top tier Andrew Luck-esque prospect. That ain't going to change. It ain't going to change unless he falls in the draft somehow. Drake May. And we're all guessing he's going to the Commanders or somewhere right after Caleb Williams. 102, 103, something like that. Looking like 102. But we got to wait for draft season to really kick in. We got the NFL playoffs right now. We're going to see some rumors buzz. We're going to see them buzz. And we're going to get to those buzzing players here soon. But Drake May, he's been a locked-in prospect for the first round since Howell left. Now he's going to be taking over Howell's spot here for the Commanders. That being said, around the 103 in Superflex, he's going to float around. He's not going to be as valuable in one QB, even though you're going to be taking some shots on him at some valuable spots there, probably early, mid-second round-ish. Would not tell you to do that with these wide receivers to take a quarterback in the first round other than Caleb Williams this year. That being said, 103 in Superflex range, going to the Commanders. We got some weapons there, but looking at the mock drafts here, he's going to the Commanders in a lot of mock drafts, locked in there. That is the chalk pick for these mock drafts. However, next player off the board, Jayden Daniels. The thing about him is he is chalky to the Patriots, but he might jump our buddy here, Drake May, for the 102. And we're going to hear that soon in the rumors when we get hot and heavy here with draft season. Once draft season starts rolling, Jayden Daniels pushing for the 102, pushing ahead of Drake May. That's going to be a thing once we get into draft season, when the rumors start getting flooded. And I'm not really against it. Not really against it. I think he's a good quarterback prospect. I think he had a great year in the SEC. Really turned things on this year. Was good last year as well. And he was really turning things over really turning to a new page. Once he got to LSU, once he started getting his feet wet, and then this year, he just put the stamp on things. He really just laid it down home. Looked good, looked the part. He earned it. He earned being drafted this high. He's going to the Patriots, though. Are you going to hate him going to the Patriots? Because I know a lot of people are. The Patriots are going to be a new team. They're going to be different. They got different leadership there. They're going to build things differently, and it's just going to be a different team. And you just got to wait things out. You're just going to have to do that. But most of these young quarterbacks getting drafted high, they're going to go in tough situations. That's just the name of the game, and you're just going to have to wait some years for that to be built out. And that's just part of it. With that being said, with Jayden Daniels going 103 to the Patriots, are you putting him ahead of Drake May in your Superflex drafts? Who are you taking? Because Drake May going to the Commanders and him going to the Patriots, there's a difference. There's a difference. Who do you like better as a talent? Because I guarantee you go on the internet, you go to Twitter, you go to social media, and you're looking at Jayden Daniels, there are people talking him up to be better than Caleb Williams. And they're LSU fans, they are SEC fans, and they have a case because we saw chinks in the armor of Caleb Williams this year. Jayden Daniels stepped it up in the SEC this year, lighting it up. One of the best quarterbacks in all college football. We saw that. I'm not making that case. That is what I'm seeing. And you know how I like to do things on here. I like to read the market, talk about what people are saying, bring it back here, see what you guys think. Let you guys sit on that for a bit. But reading the market in draft season, there's going to be buzz on Jayden Daniels, and that's really going to light up some mocks too. You're going to see him get drafted at 102 in mocks. You're going to see that, and that's going to happen soon. Marvin Harrison Jr. here at 104 to the Arizona Cardinals. This is a very chalky pick here for this mock draft. Every single mock draft we've done 4 or 5 already. He's been going to the Cardinals. 104. Honestly, this does not change his value. Superflex, 1 QB. 102 in Superflex. 101 and 1 QB. I think he can go anywhere in the NFL. No one's going to sour on him. No one's going to be down on him. Some people might like Malik Nabers better than him. They may push Malik Nabers up ahead of him if they like Nabers' spot, which is okay. I like Nabers a lot, and I have them tiered together. I have them together because I think they're both generational prospects. Once you look at everything together, the metrics, the age-adjusted metrics, once we get the combine numbers in, I bet you they're going to still be up there. You look at the highlight packages, you look at the tape from play to play, I guarantee you a lot of people are going to be in the same realm as me. But going to our next pick, this is where things get a little weird, and this is where Daniel Jeremiah is trying to stir the pot with his picks here. And then we're going to read this. We're going to read this off real quick here. Odunze is my favorite player in the draft. He's a complete wide receiver. The Chargers have a salary cap decisions to make with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. This would be a home run addition for Justin Herbert. Malik Nabers off the board. That is the obvious pick to make here. This is what every other mock draft is doing. But he posted Odunze ahead of him at pick 5 here to the Chargers. Great landing spot for Odunze. And Odunze is going so high in the draft where he's not really going to drop in value. And this pushing him up, it's really hard to push him much higher. But I think he's a great prospect. I just don't think he's at the level of Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Nabers. But I think he's at the level where he could be the wide receiver 1 of last year's class. Or at least push for that. With JSN, Jordan Addison, and company in the first round. Mixing in with the first rounders. I know Puka Nacua did his thing, but we're looking at a prospect term here with the first round prospects and what the masses, the market was saying this time last year, after draft last year. Looking at those first round wide receivers, he would crush Quentin Johnson on the Chargers easily. A way better prospect, more upside, more production. He would steal his lunch on this offense. Keenan Allen there, Mike Williams. They're not getting any younger. They're not getting any cheaper. Makes sense for the team. But then you see Malik Nabers going to the Giants. Going to the Giants. And the thing about him going to the Giants, would you sour on that? Would you do that? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. This team's trying to put something together here. It's not looking good. I get it. But Nabers is a different type of talent. No matter where he goes, you just got to roll with it. You got to keep him where he is. I get it. It could be take lock there, but a top tier prospects do top tier things. Malik Nabers is there. If anything, he might have been the guy that got Jayden Daniels over. And I do believe that could be a possibility here if he's that good, because we saw Jordan Addison do that with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett got drafted in the first round for a reason, and it was due to Jordan Addison. Malik Nabers could be that dude here. That could be a player to look at here. I am going to still have him ahead of Odunze, and I'm an Odunze guy. And I don't like being an Odunze guy since it's now cool to be, but still, Odunze going ahead of Nabers. I just don't see that happening in the real NFL draft. I feel like Nabers would be going to the Chargers here. But Daniel Jeremiah has to shake things up. That is what he does in a lot of these mock drafts. We saw this last year in a number of his mock drafts, a number of Milk Hyper's mock drafts. Then the goal is to get us talking about it like I'm doing right now. But I have to, because that's part of this job. We go over the mock drafts every week because there's nothing really else to do in the offseason. But we're going to go down to our next picks. Of course, we're going to skip the offensive tackles here. Tennessee Titans, getting like a Rome Odunze or Malik Nabers could be a huge hit for them, considering Treylon Burks isn't doing much. He's always hurt, and we not really see him develop. DeAndre Hopkins isn't getting any younger. They need to get something around Will Levis. Obviously, offensive line still, and they're kind of high up there. If those wide receivers are gone, then obviously not, but I would not be surprised if they come away with one of those wide receivers or Brock Bowers. That could be in the cards as they're trying to build this team up to be more explosive. You're also going to be losing Derrick Henry this offseason. Maybe you want a different identity or at least push it more on the edge. So, Falcons go edge. Looks like the Bears go edge. Looks like the Jets go tackle. The Vikings go defensive tackle. The Broncos go cornerback. The Raiders go offensive tackle. Bo Nix to the Saints. I think this is a great spot for him. Going to be playing indoors. Going to have Chris Olave. He's going to have some time to develop there. They already got some weapons. You got Alvin Kamara for a little bit of time there. He's not getting any younger. But still, this is a great spot for him. This is a team that can push it downfield. They want to push it downfield. They identify as that. Bo Nix can be a little bit aggressive there. And you got Chris Olave, like I already said, getting downfield, creating separation. If you're drafting a quarterback in the first round, usually we see these teams bring in other pass catchers. This wide receiver class is deep. And as you've seen over the number of these high school recruiting videos that we've done over the years, the wide receiver well is not going to dry up anytime soon. They're going to be getting other wide receivers in here to build with Bo Nix. It's going to be an easy thing to do. Get your quarterback, see what he can do. Do you like Bo Nix, though? The older wide receiver, went to Auburn, did not hit there, went over there to Oregon, did well, especially these last couple years. Was very productive, accurate downfield. Let me know what you think about Bo Nix going forward. But Brock Bowers, going to the Colts here. Do you like that fit with Anthony Richardson? Because he would add some gusto to the offense. Him, Michael Pittman Jr., Josh Downs. That could be a good trio in the passing game. And then you got the other ancillary jabroni wide receivers in there. However, this could be a good addition to the Colts for fantasy. The tight end position is always fickle. This is a fickle situation for Brock Bowers. Just going to have to wait and see what happens. Are you going to pay that first round pick, or are you just going to pivot to one of the wide receivers in the draft or that first drafted running back? What are you going to do there? What are you going to do if Brock Bowers goes to a team like the Colts and it does not look as glorious as what it seems like? Are you going to let somebody else draft him? Maybe try and trade for him if he does something early. Maybe just pay up for that. That's what I like to do with first-round tight ends. Are you going to do that in this situation? Or are you just going to ride it out, draft it, and see what happens? That's a good question if he goes to the Colts or some team like that. Seattle goes offensive tackle. Jaguars go cornerback. Bengals go offensive tackle. And it's the offensive line. Rams go edge. Steelers go offensive tackle. Brian Thomas to the Dolphins. Brian Thomas to the Dolphins. It's a sexy pick. It looks sexy on a mock draft. Are they really going to do this? Is this really going to happen? They got Tyreek Hill. They got Jalen Waddle. Are they going to go a first-round pick on another wide receiver? More than likely not. More than likely they're not going to do that, but it could happen, but it gets you some clicks. The Dolphins getting a wide receiver, a very explosive offense. But looking at this for Dynasty Fantasy Football, there's two ways this can go. They're going to look at the Dolphins and be like, this is a high-powered offense. Tyreek Hill's not getting any younger. We're going to spend a first-round pick on him. Latter part of the first round. We're not going to bump him up to the middle of the first round because he is going to be sharing the offense with two Haas wide receivers. However, they could also, playing devil's advocate with the market here, say, hey, he is playing with two Haas wide receivers. It's going to take him some time to get enough targets to be valuable in fantasy football. Let's bump this guy down to the second round. Next thing you know, you're getting a first-round wide receiver early second round of your rookie drafts, and then a running back or two gets drafted a little bit higher than they should, and you get Brian Thomas Jr. on ADP per wherever you're looking at a discount. Those are two scenarios I see happening here with the Dolphins. Let me know if you disagree or not, but that's what I see happening here with Brian Thomas. I think he's a sneaky wide receiver this year. I think he's going to be very sneaky. He's going to give you some range. He's going to give you some nuance. I think he's going to be worth your while to look at here in your rookie drafts, and I think he's going to be at a good value to get. Looking at here, Eagles go offensive tackle. Texans, who are playing right now, get edge. Cowboys get an offensive tackle. They do need to get younger. Green Bay Packers, inside offensive line is what I'm reading there. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, cornerback. Next pick, Cardinals, cornerback, Bills, Newton. A lot of mocks have them going wide receiver here. A lot of mocks do. But the Chiefs, Devontae Walker, Des Walker to the Kansas City Chiefs. And this may or may not bump them up to the first round. As we saw Rashee Rice get drafted in the early to mid part of the second round of rookie drafts last year. But he will or should get that Chiefs draft capital with his dynasty stock. Since he's a first rounder, this is going to be a sexy pick. This means that Daniel Jeremiah likes him, and this means he's looking at the Chiefs to stock up at the wide receiver position, which they should. Rashee Rice was the only wide receiver who really stepped up this year. Sky Moore didn't do shit. Kadarius Toney didn't do shit. They need to get a couple wide receivers. They may be drafting 3 of them this year, maybe 4. It's a deep wide receiver class. You're going to catch wide receivers at a discount. And when I mean drafting wide receivers, there's this thing called a 6th, 7th round, 5th round. They get some late round guys, but they need to get depth. They need to get better. And I could see them going a little bit earlier than expected at wide receiver. They are spending a lot at the wide receiver position. 2 second-round picks in back-to-back years at the wide receiver spot. But they might make it happen. They might. Or they may go to free agency. However, they're batting .500 on the last 2 drafts at the wide receiver spot. Rashee Rice, I think you can say he's a hit for them. Sky Moore, not looking great. They do need to get somebody else. Des Walker's draft capital, I say he'd probably be around a late first rounder. I think he'll get that. He might get bumped up a little bit. I think there's going to be some people that love it and some people that are going to pivot against it when we're looking at the market. Lions get cornerback. Niners get Kool-Aid. Ravens, Troy Franklin. Very interesting pick for the last pick of the draft. How many first-round picks are they going to throw at the wide receiver position? Why does Jeremiah think that? I don't know. But when I look at this, Troy Franklin going to the Ravens, he's going to go at a discount. He's going to go in the latter part of the first round, early part of the second. He's going to get haters because he went to the Ravens, and he's going to get people who are going to say, hey, draft the player, not the situation, and just see what happens and hold true to that, kind of like a Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman's not going to be there forever. Odell Beckham Jr. is not going to be there forever. Zay Flowers is a different player. Franklin and Flowers together could be a good duo. It really could be. Because they're 2 totally different wide receivers. They can add, Franklin could add to the wide receiver depth chart. I think he'd be a solid mid to late round pick in rookie drafts. It really depends on what the market says here. I think the market's going to hate it. I think Big Time Dynasty is going to hate another wide receiver going in the first round to the Ravens. I think they're going to sour on that. And I think you can catch that wide receiver at a discount. I don't think it's probably going to happen unless a wide receiver falls in the draft. Troy Franklin going at 32 to the Ravens. A good price. I don't see him falling this far, though. I just don't see it happening. Let me know if you think he does, or further than this to the second round. I just don't see it happening. I think this mock draft sucks. I think he's bad at this, and I also think he's cooking the books here so he can make changes to his next mock drafts going forward. So he can say he has some big movers to give us something to look at. Odunze ahead of Nabers. A good talking point, but still not realistic. We know what's going to happen here. Nabers is going to go ahead of Odunze. Odunze is a good wide receiver. Should be the wide receiver 3. Should be up there in the first round. But there's levels to this game. Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Nabers. Those are the prospects that's going to be up there. Those are guys we've been waiting to fall off the board in Dynasty for quite some time now. Now we just got to wait for it to happen. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.